Hello and welcome everybody to BBL Season 8. We are now in Week 11, getting close to the playoffs. And this is with tonight I will be playing with my primary team, the Super Duper Melonheads. After a very close loss last week, we lost by tiebreaker. The Melonheads are now 5-5, one game back in the AL East. The good news is we have favorable matchups for the rest of the season, so the hope is that we can leverage all those favorable matchups, get wins, and if we do that, we've got the division already guaranteed. Very likely the 2 seed as well. So that is our hope. We are taking the toughest of those matchups first against the crazy Hornets. They were drafted by Visery, who then decided not to coach them. So Mbless1415 has been coaching this team after a season's absence from the BBL. Hornets have been very consistently scoring right about 11 or 12 runs a game. Which makes them one of the honestly stronger teams in the AL, higher scoring teams. And that is reflected in their record as they are now 7-3. They are the current leaders in the wildcard race. Their division rivals, the Padres, who I played last week, are the only team with a realistic chance at this point of unseating them for wildcard. So definitely something of a threat, especially for me, because I have played games before against Bless at Tincanali. He has gone off against me for a ton of runs, so there's definitely some degree of nervousness with this matchup. As far as the league's predictions, this is in fact a game where the Melonheads are favored by a total of 10-4. Crazy Eights, Chris Blanco, JY Knight, and RU Tyler are the ones who chose to, whether it was wise or not, we'll find out, but they're the ones who chose to back the Hornets. Everybody else backed the Melonheads, and 9 out of those 10 people also picked the Melonheads as their upset of this week. That does include me. My prediction for tonight is that the Melonheads are going to win because we are very, very good at Tin Can Alley, and that's about all there is to it. So, with all that being said, let's dive into the game. I pre-roll all my games just so I know ahead of time if I have any bad days to deal with. Today, no good days, no bad days on the Melonheads. I take that. I've had too many nasty bad days this season, so just no bad days is a win in and of itself. Hornets have one bad day on their team. Vanessa Goodman in right field is down to 3 hitting and 3 running. So very slow right fielder. At Tin Can Alley, that's not likely to be super significant, but we'll see. Could mean an extra run or 2 on some hits. My defense I will be adjusting. Phil plays center field when we're at home because center field doesn't do a lot, and Phil is kind of my weakest fielder. We'll leave the rest of the setup the same. Batting order, we are swapping back to our normal with Lindsay batting leadoff now that she is no longer suffering from a bad day. I was toying with the idea of changing the bottom of my lineup, having Stan bat before Heather. Ultimately, though, I like it more having Heather bat after Jay and Shane to minimize any double play risk. So maybe having Stan bat before them and before Heather would work well here, but ultimately I decided this is not the time in the season to start experimenting. We'll stick with something that we know works pretty well. That's about it for that setup. Not too much this week, so we will go ahead and dive into the game. The Hornets are also a team build that I can definitely see doing pretty well at Tin Can Alley. Not Lisa Crockett so much specifically, but there's a fairly high amount of power on this team, and that is usually a good thing for Tin Can. And most of the players without a lot of power still have pretty good speed to beat hits out. Anyway, Lisa grounds out on the first pitch. Strong start to the game. Brings up Wally Evans. One of the tougher players on the Hornets. This is a team that somewhat hobbled themselves with trades. During the draft, they gave up a first-round pick with no real increase in their overall draft stock, and they also traded away, did a straight downgrade of a trade, basically, just to get a better AI capture, which in my opinion is not worth it. But, as Bless has shown, they are by no means a totally gimped team that can't do anything. Xenophrome now up. She's probably going to get at least 1 trailer shot this game. The Z's are legendarily great hitters. Arguably the best pure power hitters in the game. They have that power rating of 100, and of all the people who have that, they have the highest contact rating. In any case, Xena hits a hard line drive ground ball up towards second base, and Sheila is not able to field it, so it is a single for Xena, which brings up Jennifer Goodfellow, another one of those 100 power hitters. And again, if you have a lot of power, you can usually do pretty well at tin can, even if you're not usually hitting it over the fence. Xena goes for the steal of second, but cannot make it in time. The relay through the pitcher is successful, and so that is the third out for the Hornets in fairly anticlimactic fashion. Alright, no score for the Hornets. Going into the bottom of the first, time for the Melonheads to do their thing. Tom Glass is the pitcher for the Hornets. Fairly unremarkable player in my estimation. And Lindsay Felgate leads off. She did decently last week despite having a terrible bad day. Now she is back to full strength and looking to make a statement with it. Starts off with an easy single, although she'll be holding at first here. I'm not going to take a risk with Wally so close to the ball, but easy leadoff single for Lindsay. Good start. Bringing up Sheila Basanti. We are going to see what we can get, if we can get away with stealing anything off Francesca Whitaker behind the plate. You know, I might could have made it. And I just remembered I had committed not to do any of these attempts to steal because it was far too likely that that would happen. That Lindsay would just trip and lose a lot of her stuff. Is it Sonia behind the plate? Maybe it is. I get them confused sometimes. Sheila with a lazy ground ball. Tom comes in to field it. There's no play at first. He goes for second instead, but not in time. Single for Sheila, 2 on. Nobody out. Dmitry Petrovich is up. I think Sonia and Francesca are pretty similar players. In any case, I think a speedster could steal second off Sonia, which makes it, in my opinion, that much more not so wise of a decision to trade away Jorge for Tracy to get her behind the plate. But in any case, 0-2 on Dmitry. Tom putting some not so nice looking pitches in there, and that's a pop-up. That's going to be an infield fly. Not the most dynamic start to the game then, but still plenty of potential to get some done here. That was some good pitching by Glass there. Just 2 pitches that he could not do anything with, and then one that was an easy pop-up pitch. And he's continuing the nasty pitches here against Fabian. Fabian has not yet hit one over the building this season. I'm looking to change that before we're done. Fabian sends one towards the moon, but it lands just foul on the building. I got a lot of building shots with Fabian back in Season 5, which was also at Tin Can Alley. And that is going to be dropped by Lisa Crockett. Lindsay going for home. She trips, but makes it anyway. So, whew. Error, but what could have been a pretty cheesy double play there with Lindsay off the bag at second and nothing I could do to stop the double off, but Lisa drops it, and so instead it's an RBI single by Fabian, and Melonheads are on the board, 1-0. Jay Green now up. Jay stepped up ably to fill the gap left by Lindsay last week. This time, though, he leads off with a line-out. Not so great. There are now 2 outs and Fabian on first. This is looking like an uncharacteristically weak inning for the Melonheads, unless Shane can pull out something big here. Not getting really great hits here and so far. Glass is pitching well. We've got to wear him down, and without wasting too much time. Shane hits one towards right. It's a grounder, though, straight towards Tommy, and he's able to make the throw successfully, so only 1 inning. Only 1 run in the first for the Melonheads. Not a good start. Not the start we want to see against this offense in particular. 4 innings left. We are hoping that our hitting gets a lot better. Jennifer Goodfellow leads off with a line drive straight to Heather for the first out. Lindsay has super low coordination. That one makes sense. Sonia is now hitting. Who is, in fact, the catcher. Ball 1. And swings late. 1 and 2 is a count on Sonia. This one into the ground with 2 strikes. Fielded ably by Jay for out number 2, and Jim Tomey is now up. In the strike zone for strike 1. Swings and misses for strike 2. Maybe we can get a strikeout and get more juice off of that. Always like that extra safety net. Tomey swings early, and he is out. Thus ends the top of the second. Alright, going into the bottom. Let's see if the Melonheads can remember how to really smash the ball. Heather Quinn leading off. Never the hitter you really want in the leadoff spot, but we'll do what we can. Heather has done well this season, batting over 500 with very few power-ups. It is now 1-1. Glass continuing to be a menace on the mound. Heather lines one up to the side, but too close to Tracy, who catches it for the first out. All right, come on. Let's get some good stuff going on here. Phil Nevin up. It looks like a good one, but is fouled off by Phil. Man. I think it's starting to get to me some here. If I only score like 1 or 2 runs this inning, then we are halting the stream, and I am coming back on a different day to try to do better. We are not taking risks with this. And Phil hits one that's going to land on the newspaper bins. Not going to come off anytime soon either. Easy double for him. However, we will hold at second. Right around second, then with 1 out, Stan Olafson is up. And take strike 1. Glass continuing to be an absolute menace here on the mound. I think things will get a lot better if I can get him off the mound and someone else on. Ball one for Stan. And take strike 2. Another absolutely nasty corner pitch. Just barely puts the bat on that one to keep the at-bat alive. Still 1-2. Glass is not giving me any breaks. It's the 3rd nasty corner pitch in a row, which Stan can only do an easy pop-out for. And there are 2 outs. This is not going well, folks. Alright, Lindsay Felgate now up. Hit a leadoff single. Hoping now to batten Phil and get this thing going here for real. Going for power because we could use a big bomb, and we get a big one going off the left field wall. Zena is able to pick it up though, so Phil will hold at third. No runs scored on that play, so we need another good one. But now runners on second and third, 2 out. Sheila is up. Sheila running for her life to first, and it pays off. No chance for a score there, unfortunately. And that brings up Dimitri. Popped into an infield fly last inning. Let's see if he can do better this time. Base is loaded, so a base hit does score probably 2 runs. And another nasty pitch from Glass. I just cannot get a break from this guy, it seems. And smacks one towards right. That is going to go off the bin. Phil scores. Lisa drops it, which opens a big window. Lindsay scores easily. Sheila to third, and that's a 2 RBI single by Dimitri. Alright. Things are really starting to heat up here. Let's see if Fabian can keep it going. 2 on, 2 out. Oh no. Dimitri falls over twice. 3 times, and that is it. I was hoping for the easy steal, but Dimitri falls 3 times to cut my inning short, and Fabian is good. No, that was completely different. That was completely different. That was try to steal because they might not throw to seconds. And so that cuts my rally short in extremely frustrating fashion. Fabian is going to be leading off next inning with no one to drive in. In theory, it wasn't that big of a risk. I think we would have been fine if Dimitri hadn't tripped the second time. I forget that Jay Green can't throw a left hook, but that's alright. Vanessa just watches it go by anyway. Strikeout. So, yeah, only 3 runs after 2 innings. I only have 3 innings left, and the Hornets are probably going to score at least in the upper teens off of me, so... This is really not going well. Last foul's went off. Strikes out. And Tracy Hoban is now up. Jay with 4 strikeouts, but no more juice yet. Game is being stingy with those to date. Take strike 2. And fouls it off to keep the inning going a little longer, tire Jay out a little more, bug me a little more. Another foul ball. And finally, the dinky ground ball for the easy 3rd out. So, Hornets at least have been ineffectual so far this game. 1 hit, which was then caught stealing, no runs. But Melonheads with only 3 runs after 2. We will need to work to change that, but that will come a different evening. I am doing too poorly, and I am too tilted tonight to keep playing. If I keep playing, I'm almost guaranteed to have a poor game. If I come back on a different night when I feel better and I'm not tilted anymore, then we might still salvage this and put up a big score. So, that's all for tonight for the Melonheads.